Hello, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Jeff Mendelson, and this is the One Big Tip podcast. My guest today is Jess Tiffany, owner of Marketing and Networking University, host of the Rev It Up podcast, an advisor and coach. Jess knows firsthand that to increase sales and brand awareness, you need to be noticed by your target audience. He created the STARS client acquisition system designed to help his clients generate more leads and sales by teaching them how to leverage the power and potential of LinkedIn and other business channels so that you can reach decision makers in your target audience. I love talking LinkedIn. I think it's one of the most underappreciated social networks out there. So this is going to be a lot of fun today. Jess, thank you so much for joining me and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
So you are a fellow digital marketing agency owner like myself. Tell us a little bit about who you are and how you became so awesome.
All right. Well, basically, what we do is we do full service digital marketing. But I did write an international bestseller on LinkedIn, so that's kind of where most people know me from. And we really focus on taking care of our clients, making you look credible and visible online, and that helps us get you out there. And a lot of it started back years ago when I worked at 3M, and I was basically facilitating all the classrooms across the 3M campus here in Minneapolis, and really was kind of learning that trade. But eventually, I ended up starting the Marketing Networking University that you mentioned, and it was an online education platform. And I needed to find the teachers, the professionals, the high level people, and I just really couldn't find them on Facebook and Twitter and some of the other places. And that pushed me to LinkedIn, and then that just opened up the world to me. And then over time, we grew on LinkedIn. Now we have over 30,000 connections and network with some of the most amazing people on the planet. So that's kind of how we got started.
When you started leveraging LinkedIn, in order to grow your base, what did you find were the main differentiators when you were when you were trying to target these people? Was it just you were able to see that, oh, this person's a teacher or this person's a CEO? What were some of the key things that you used in order to really leverage the platform?
Yeah, it really just opened the door to, anybody you wanted to find, you could, type in their name and find them. And then when I started getting a little more advanced, I could, use Boolean logic, and I could say like digital marketer and LinkedIn or different things, and really was able to narrow down. And then I started using the filters, and then I went over to Sales Navigator, and now they have over 80 filters that you can really just dial into the exact decision makers that you're looking for. And it just really is a very powerful tool. I kind of tell people it's kind of like the search engine for business people. And you leverage that. You go in there, you find who you're looking for, your exact target market. You put those filters in and hit run, and off you go.
So, which level do you recommend for most people to use? Is it just the basic, LinkedIn service, or do you recommend they get premium right away? Make them graduate to Sales Navigator? Like what are the
Yeah,
main differences in your mind?
you know, um, I did not use any premium or anything until I hit over 10,000 connections and was already well networked, because I just maybe I was cheaper. I don't know what it was, but I figured out some Boolean logic. I figured out how to use the little tools they had. Um, you can search. I always tell people to search for the commonality. So whatever it is, it might be the university you went to, or it might be a charity that you don't donate to, or whatever it is. But search that commonality, find the people that you already have something in common. And I mean, you literally don't even have to open their profile, because you already know you have that piece to leverage that common thing that you have with that person. But it's even better if you can open it up, read about them, study about them, make sure, verify things, and really make sure it's a fit, and then reach out to that person with a personalized message and have a conversation. But then if you can, get premium, because then you can go in and you can see who viewed your profile, and you can do all these other things, and you can do more searches if you're more serious. LinkedIn, when I started, didn't do this, but now they'll cut you off after so many searches per month and things like that. So then you have to go to premium. And then if you want to go beyond that and really dial in the decision maker, especially if you're a B2B person, you're really, maybe you have a high ticket offer or something. If you can go to the sales navigator, it's so worth the extra money with the tools that you can use to search and organize and catalog and all that stuff.
You know what's interesting about Sales Navigator? I just upgraded to that a couple of months ago, and you can really do some great searches with that that really help you figure out, like who I want to talk to and why I want to talk to them. One of the interesting things though about LinkedIn is that I get a lot of people who friend me on LinkedIn, and then one of two things happen. Either they'll say nothing, or they're gonna right away hit me up for services like, "Hey, can you use more leads? Can you use more of this? Can you use more of that?" And some of them you could just tell are bots, right?
Yeah.
And others, they have some pretty good, they have some pretty good openers. I think the funniest thing for me is when I start seeing the same opening message week after week after week, and it's like all these people are using the same template, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, guys, come on, let's get a little bit more original here. What is your opinion on using some of that LinkedIn automation tools that are available out there versus doing this all by hand?
Yeah, well, it's a little controversial maybe, but I tend to tell people not to use it if you can. Um, it does technically go against LinkedIn's terms of services, so I kind of try to steer people away from it if possible. But um, in the past I had tried it, and it's very handy. I mean, you just set it and kind of let it run, and as long as you don't abuse it, LinkedIn probably won't find out. So it's probably okay. Um, but yeah, so I do tend to lean people towards, if you can, do it yourself, or have a virtual assistant or somebody do it for you. It's more personable. If somebody, if people, especially if things happen, like it says, hello first name in quotes or something, and you can obviously tell it's a bot, and then it's a kind of a turn off to a lot of people. But um, they are nice for making it easy, but the personal touch is definitely the way to go if you can.
One of the most interesting things that I've noticed on LinkedIn is that a lot of people put emojis as before their first name, right? So they'll put like a championship or a star or something, and I thought they were just using it to decorate their profile, but it actually has a second purpose. That if these automation tools are utilizing a first name, it's going to show the emoji in there, right?
Yeah.
So then they know that if a message comes through and it includes the emoji, then they know right away it's a bot, and it's like, all right, whatever, and then they don't interact with them.
Yeah.
And that for me was like, that was just eye opening. It's like, okay, dude, like these tools need at least a filter for something like that, in order to be able to, defeat that part. Because I thought it was so profound that, people were actually thinking about this. And then it's like, okay, well, how do we get this, how do we get past that? So I thought that part was really cool.
This
Um,
the software tries to automate it, and you can do like company name, or you could do the first name, or you can do that. But if you have those different things in there, it's quite obvious, and you're like, yeah. Anyway,
So I want to segue into your framework for how to leverage connections on LinkedIn in order to bring in more business, and how this framework actually can be used on other platforms as well. Talk to me about this. What is the star system, and how does it work?
yeah. Basically, it's a hybrid model. It's not just outreach, and it's not just inbound. It's leveraging both. I kind of talk about pop. Make sure it's professional. Make sure whatever opportunity you offer is available in that profile, and whatever problems that you solve for your clients is listed in there. And if you can incorporate those three things into your profile, the first P being professional, making sure you come across good. You got good photography, a nice background picture. Um, when you're in your profile, you link to a company page, different things like that, so that it shows a nice little clean icon and things like that, a logo, and making sure you really stand out. And then it's like, how do you stand out outside of LinkedIn as well? can you get, can you be a guest on podcasts? Can you, get quoted in magazines? Can you, maybe you want to write a book and, become a bestseller, or, there's all kinds of different things you can do. There's degrees you can get, there's certifications that you can get, different things that allow you to build your credibility. And then you can leverage that on LinkedIn and other platforms to grow your entire online persona. So if somebody Googles you, types in your name, there's 2-3 pages deep of just stuff, high quality content about you. And then take that over to LinkedIn and then build relationships, put out good content, connect with people, build relationships. Don't just go, hey, buy my product, buy my product. Say, hey, I'm Jess, nice to meet you, thank you for connecting. Hey, I saw you do XYZ and I'm also interested in XYZ. Have you ever done this? Asking good quality questions and actually building a relationship. So that's kind of what stars encompasses.
What is the biggest pet peeve that you see people doing on LinkedIn that you wish they would stop doing today?
Hmm. There's a few, but spam, I guess, is still probably the biggest that people think of, and myself as well. Is as soon as you hit that connect and you say, okay, it looks like a decent person, and they're like, hey, buy my product. And you're like, whoa, slow down. I don't even know much about you yet. So that's a big thing. And then people do the same thing in comments. Sometimes they'll just like, hey, go to, Fiverr and buy my gig, but it's not relevant to the conversation. I mean, if they're solving a problem and somebody says, hey, I'm having this problem, they say, oh, I solved that problem. Here's a link to my page and explains what I can offer. That's a legitimate, you're offering some help. But if you're just throwing a link out there and hoping somebody clicks on it, it's kind of worthless.
So when you're coaching people on how to improve their LinkedIn profile, like we all know the basic stuff. Like you said, have a good picture, have a good have a good cover photo, have a great description, and a great headline also, right? You need a great headline to, actually tell people, why you're there and what problem you can solve. But how important do you think that experience, that whole resume CV thing, that they include in there, and like some of the, like your professional certifications, like how important do you think those are in the greater conversation of creating your LinkedIn profile are?
It really is, only if it's important to the person that's searching for you. Um, if you are a person that has a job and you're looking for a better job and you're having people, recruiters and, potential people to employ you looking at your profile, then the CV model is okay. However, it's really LinkedIn's kind of morphed into more of, your online, business persona. And if you can use the creator mode that they have now, and you can add a little video clip and put, maybe your, call to action right in the little video. When you're doing a live, it shows up on the top of the banner on your page. It lays out some of your featured things on top instead of buried down below like it used to be on the traditional format for LinkedIn. So you really have to tailor it to your audience, really, at the end of the day, because it's all about them. It's not about you. It's about the people that you're serving.
Awesome. That's great advice. But when you're working with someone, when you're coaching them on how to on how to improve the profile and how to improve their communications on the platform, what would you say is the biggest foundational piece that you need to get them to understand, before they can become really great at using the platform?
Yeah, absolutely. Really, messaging is really more important than most people realize. Yes, a good picture and everything, but are you clear on who you benefit right in your profile? If you can really make that super clear, like I help X do Y by doing Z, or whatever the format is that you want to use, but if you can make that super clear, and then once you go into the actual about section and kind of talking about yourself, you want to have a relatable story, something about yourself that maybe people don't know, maybe they wouldn't expect, something that builds your credibility as well. but you also want to, kind of have that hook or that call to action and really lay it out. I like to use something called Lingo Jam Fancy Text Editor. It's a free website, but you paste whatever you want, and then it'll convert it into some fancier fonts like bold or different things you can do, and then you can copy paste it into LinkedIn. LinkedIn doesn't allow you to edit it there, but if you grab it from there and paste it, you can do that, and it works. And so you can set up little bullet points and really lay it out so it's clear. You want to leave gaps in between so it's easy for people to just scroll and look and read and absorb. Because if it's a big block of text, people's eyes and brains just kind of glaze over. So if you can lay that out clear, it makes a big difference.
What would you say is one of the biggest wins that you've seen your clients achieve by implementing, part of this framework into their LinkedIn strategy?
Yeah, a couple things. One is just being able to leverage relationships and meeting people and getting in front of the right decision makers so they can sell their product. Like we serve a solar company, and they're able to actually go on there, find the right clients, and get their electric bill basically submitted to them so that they can turn around and do a proposal for solar services on their property. Different things like that. So really getting clients is huge. Setting up joint ventures is a big thing. And like little things like I got invited to a New York Times bestseller, 5-time New York Times bestseller, invited me for a whiskey tasting event, through LinkedIn because we were connected on there. But it's just being able to network with people, build trust, build relationship and credibility, and then people will reach out to you a lot of times as well. So we do teach outbound too, but we like to do a balanced approach. But there's plenty of people that just come to you and you get business when you really have a great profile.
Amazing, amazing advice. Thank you so much for sharing that. Jess, can you please let everyone know how they can find you online and how they can reach out to you directly if they want to learn more?
Absolutely. There's a couple places you can go to starspress.com. That is one of ours, but the other one is JessTiffanyConsulting.com. And then, of course, on LinkedIn is the best. And also make sure you check out the Rev It Up podcast as well.
Amazing stuff. Jess, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. It's been a great conversation. Love talking about LinkedIn and how it can really help you bring in more business. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.